am Sue Webley. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. Good morning, one and all. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. I'm your host, Sue Webley, and I'm so glad that you are here. I see you coming in on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. I'm looking at y'all on LinkedIn. Hey, y'all. Do me a favor. Give me a big push. Give this episode this morning a big push. Share it out. Share it out on YouTube. Share that YouTube link with your friends and your family. Share that Facebook. We're on my page on Facebook and also on the Inspire page on Facebook. So share those out. We're also on LinkedIn. So hey, y'all who are tuning in from LinkedIn, share it out, share it out, share it out. If you just kind of stumbled upon this live this morning and you don't know what it is about who I am. I'm your host, Sue Webley. I am many things. Because before I'm y'all, so we have to have 10 jobs, right? So I'm many things, but I am also the founder of Cara Solutions, LLC, which is a full digital service agency that helps individuals like you and organizations navigate the virtual space with confidence. And so Inspire is a live interview style broadcast that's on a mission to encourage, empower, and embolden individuals to create change in their personal lives, their communities, and in the world. And as our guests, our entrepreneurs, influencers, creatives, and others share their testimonies, tips, and tools with us, we hope that you are inspired to elevate your mindset, pursue your dreams, and to do, as the late Dr. Katie Geneva Cannon put it so eloquently, the work your soul must have. We are live again right now on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on Instagram. So if you're there, come on, shout yourselves out so I can say hello to you. But I also want to invite you to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. We have changed our name, Inspire's name on Facebook and Instagram. It's now Inspire with Sue W. Listen, I tried to shorten that, y'all. I tried to shorten it, but they wouldn't let me. So y'all just gonna have to type out the whole name and Inspire with Sue W on Facebook and Instagram. Please give me a follow on those two platforms if you are not already following me on the Inspire pages, or you can head over to my website at www.getinspired.live to subscribe, to find out all about Cara Solutions and Inspire, and to subscribe to our newsletter. You can also listen later on Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. I'm Inspire with Sue on all of those platforms. Inspire with Sue on all of those platforms. Listen to me. Instagram is showing up this morning. Hey, y'all. I'm so good to see y'all this morning. Listen, you know what? If you're joining us for the first time, I want you to shout yourself out. And I also want you to let me know what's in your cup. You know, I always ask if you're here, if you come here, what's in your cup? What are you sipping on this morning? So I have my Fairly Wonderful makeup again this morning, right? Second week in a row. Listen, we are spotlighting women-owned businesses for free all month long. And if you have a cup with a saying on it, send it to me so I can sip out of it. So I'm going to sip my coffee this morning. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me what you're sipping on. So you know me well enough, you know I have coffee in my cup. I do not have decaf this morning. Praise the Lord. It is my mushroom coffee because I need a little energy boost this morning. And so I have just been loving this mushroom coffee ever since Dr. Rainier introduced me to it last year. It is a little pricey, but it does the job. I get it on Amazon, so it does not rise. It's something else. So if you want to know about that mushroom coffee, let me know. Let me know. I will inbox you. I'll inbox you the information. Because guess who's not getting free promotion on Inspire? That coffee. Amen. So you're not going to know what the name of it is. Let me know what you're sipping on, y'all. Hey, LaTanya, Greenville, South Carolina. Evelyn. Oh, my God. Buenos dias, my friend. It's so good to see you. You're drinking Bustelo. Listen, I talked about Bustelo last week, I think. I talked about Cafe Bustelo. If you want to stay up for a few days, if you're not used to caffeine and you just want to stay up for a few days, if you got a paper that you got to be up all night to write, get you some Cafe Bustelo. I'm not talking about the instant one either. You better, the ground one that you have to percolate, right? You got to percolate that Bustelo for it to work in the way it's supposed to, okay? So let's talk. What are you drinking? What are you drinking? Instagram. I see y'all. Let me know what you're sipping on this morning. Let me know what you're sipping on this morning. Listen, we're going to move forward. We're going to move forward because I'm so excited about our conversation today. But before we get there, oh my gosh, one of my favorite cartoons, right? On Nickelodeon, the Backyardigans, the creator of that, Janice Burgess, has passed away. First of all, I did not know that this woman was Black. I didn't know that she was Black. So it was Janice Burgess, creator of Nickelodeon's Backyardigans. She died on Saturday in hospice care in Manhattan. This is according to the New York Times. She was 72 years old. She was born in Pittsburgh and graduated from Brandeis University in 1973 with an art history degree. She then decided to try a new career path in television. We are honoring this Women's History Month, right? So we're honoring her today. She then decided to try a new career path in television, starting out at craft services for Pittsburgh's WQED TV station. Burgess then worked her way up to positions at Children's Television Workshop, working on 3-2-1 Contact and Ghost Rider. Some of you don't know about that. Joining Nickelodeon as an executive in charge of production for Nickelodeon's Nick Jr. channel, she oversaw shows such as Blue's Clues, Allegra's Window, and Gullah Gullah Island. Who knew? She then turned to the creative side of the business, creating a pilot for a live-action, full-body puppet show called Me and My Friends in 1998. Though the series did not move forward, she was encouraged to retool the concept for animation and eventually created the Backyardigans. Oh my gosh. Listen, Janice Burgess, you belong to the ages. We're grateful for you, our risen ancestor. Thank you for bringing your creativity into the world today. Oh my gosh. I did not know she was Black. And back here, well, I should have known because, it was Tyrone and Uniqua. We are very creative with how we name our people. So I should have known she got a little Black in her, okay? LaTanya's drinking Gatorade and just leaving the gym. Go ahead and be an example for us, LaTanya. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Listen, we're going to get into our discussion today. I'm so excited to listen. She is Bishop. It says Reverend Doctor. She's also Reverend Doctor, but she's Bishop. Okay, Reverend Dr. Andrea Vassell, global faith leader, healthcare provider, educator, founder of Wawa Aba Institute and keeping our girls in school. I'm so excited to learn, for us to learn. I know a little bit about it, but you're going to learn a little bit about it later on today. I'm going to read her bio. Born the fifth and last child to a single mom who always took care of and fought for those most in need, Reverend Dr. Andrea E. Vassell grew up with a love for service to others founded in justice. Her chosen careers as a registered professional nurse, theological scholar, pastor, conference convener, and facilitator are the embodiment of this life premise. being Zachary's mom. Hey, Zachary, Dr. Payne's wife, and being with her large family are some of her greatest joys. Dr. Vassell is committed to creating a world of justice and equity for all, regardless of gender. Dr. Vassell currently serves as the Bishop of Global Ministries in TFAM, which is its Fellowship of Affirming Ministries. Yes, we work together, we serve together in TFAM, where she convenes and connects radically inclusive faith leaders and organizations across the world to create cultural change through faith and justice. Dr. Vassell has served as a faith advisor for reproductive justice to the Biden administration in light of the overturning of Roe versus Wade. She is the co-chair of the governing board for Sacred, the spiritual alliance of communities for reproductive dignity, the nationwide alliance of religious leaders, academics, and congregations of all faiths, working together to advance reproductive justice with access to comprehensive health care, including safe abortions. Dr. Vassell is an emerging womanist who seeks to center the voices of Black women across religion, languages, culture, geographical locations, and socioeconomic status. She is the founder of the Waba Aba Womanist Leadership Institute, a program designed to provide leadership development and teach womanist thought and reproductive justice to current and emerging leaders in East Africa. She is also the founder of COGIS, Keeping Our Girls in School, a program in East Africa that provides menstrual hygiene products to adolescent girls who live with period poverty that threatens their education. She continues her work as a registered nurse globally, as a nurse educator to healthcare providers and government officials on human sexuality, HIV/AIDS, and other STIs. And as we prepare to meet our dear sister today, I'm scrolling through her Facebook page, and I found, now yesterday was International Women's Day, right? And so I found, this is from 2 years ago, but I felt it was just so appropriate for our conversation today. Let's take a look at KC2 Rwanda's tribute to women for International Women's Day. And let's go ahead and look at that while we get ready to meet the good Dr. Andrea Vassell.
Ladies should never be afraid to be smart. Life is tough, my darling, but so are you. Let's endeavor to lift up each other. Umugore ni mwiza.
Here is to all the strong women. May we know them, may we be them, and may we raise them. Where there is a woman, they will and will always be magic. Umugore ni nyina w'amahanga.
Nous sommes des filles mignonnes, nous sommes des douces sœurs, nous sommes des épouses chéries, nous sommes des mères adorables, nous sommes source de force, nous sommes des femmes. Umugore ni umutima w'urugo.
There is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. We all have a Wonder Woman inside of us. I can and I will. Watch me. Umugore ni intwari.
Happy Women's Day!
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Reverend Sue Webley. Good to be here.
Oh, it's so good to have you here. I saw that video. I was like, I know it's from 2 years ago, but I just felt it was so appropriate. And, yesterday being International Women's Day, And I love the messages, right? That we all have a superwoman inside of us. And, and listen, this world cannot go round without women.
Half the population, my darling. Half the population and the birthing people. Let's just
yes,
say
yes.
birthing people, so it can't happen without us. So know that you are it,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much for saying yes to joining us and Inspire in celebration of women making a difference. And you are certainly making a difference on a global level, Bishop. And so we're so grateful for you. But before we get into our conversation, what are you sipping on?
From Marche du Rudis. That's what their package say. Marche du Rudis in Brooklyn on Bedford Avenue. It is their coffee. It's coming straight out. It's an Arabica out of East Africa. So
wow. And I love your cup.
I got this one in South Africa.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And it survived the trip. You probably wrapped it like in the
honey. Wrapped it up because I love one of the things I love about journeying is being able to bring home, little things and remind me of my journey. Yeah. So can I tell you something about my coffee cups?
Yes, you can.
Let me share this. First of all, thank you for having me. And thank you to your audience for being so kind and saying, I'll go look at her and let's go share this morning, whatever is in our cup, right? We'll pour it out. So my coffee cups, I buy coffee cups wherever I go. So Jamaica, Doha, whatever country I'm in, I buy coffee cups. So I have this whole collection of cups. And every morning I said, where am I going to go this morning? Wow. And every morning I go to somewhere else during my little coffee time.
Yeah. I love that. You get to go back. You get to revisit those places through your coffee cups. Oh, I love it. I see everybody coming in. Do me a favor. Hey, Pastor Alyssa. Hey, Bishop Bonnie. It's so good to see you. And Minister Sandy, it's good to see you. And again, shout out to all of you who are, hey, Judy. I see all of you joining us on Instagram. So we're going to get into our discussion today. So, I read your bio, Bishop, and so you do a lot. You are certainly, hey, Pastor Kendall, it's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. You are full of things that the divine has given you to be of service to the world. And so can we talk about your work? And also, can you share what was your aha moment? What was that pivotal moment in your life that shaped your commitment to service and justice?
Thank you. I don't know if there was one moment, Sue, but growing up, my mom, I'm Jamaican born, and my mom was a single mom, and she had her children. She was a seamstress. She did her thing. I never remember her having one job. I guess we're Jamaicans, right? Even from Jamaica, we're having one job. And even though we know that we didn't have everything we need, she always took care of people who were less fortunate. So the kids in the neighborhood, or some family's child, or some woman who needed a place to stay because, of gender-based violence or something, our house was a landing space. And so I grew up with that, knowing that I needed to take care of others. Yeah. And one of the things that stuck with me about women was I was in secondary school in Jamaica, and there was an incident of sexual abuse, and it involved several boys and this one girl. And this one girl was held up as, all the names that they wanted to call her. And she was blamed for this, and none of the boys were held responsible. And so I had to stand up in school and let the people know, what was happening in my mind. And from that point on, I felt like I had to be a voice and stand up for people, women particularly, and non-gender conforming persons. So it's been there. Yeah.
Wow. And we can have, we can talk a whole year about how there was the responsibility of being safe is always it's
Mhm.
always put on us, right? And we have the onus for keeping ourselves safe and stuff like that. And you know, the perpetrator never gets the blame for it. We're always to be blamed. So
Right.
you know, we can certainly, and I hate that that happens, and it still continues to happen. And then, you know, there's something we can, you know, maybe we could talk about in another episode of Inspire, because it is important. Thank you for sharing that with us. So, what inspired you to create the Wawa Aba Womenist Leadership Institute, and how does it contribute to women's empowerment in East Africa?
Yes. First, let me say shout out to the Reverend Dr. Stephanie Crumpton, who is over at McCormick, because she was the person who introduced me to womanist theology over at Lancaster Theological Seminary. She is a third-generation womanist and a total inspiration for what it could look like to walk in your power.
Yeah.
What inspired me? I was working with now Bishop Joseph Tolton in East Africa, because he went ahead and founded TFAM Global and was working there for many, many years doing the work of justice. He invited me to come and to work with him and to teach theological education, right? And then as I was there, the women started speaking to me, and they felt like this amazing work that was being done, even within this work, some of them still felt like there was more to be done specifically for women. And so they asked me, so what are we going to do about this? And I thought, well, I don't live here. And they said, well, you need to do something about this. And so that was in 2015. And I did several conferences, gender justice conferences. And when I graduated from Lancaster, we went back, and it just felt like it was something that was needed, because the women kept speaking. It wasn't something I started. It was coming from their voice, what they needed. And I thought of the Wawa Aba Institute, and Wawa Aba because it means strength, resilience, and perseverance. And this is what I was seeing in these amazing women and gender nonconforming persons.
Thank you. So can you explain for the audience, some of the audience who may not know what a womanist is? What is a womanist?
A womanist, the womanism came out of first of all, it was first coined by Alice Walker, right? And womanist is that womanist or womanish was the first word. And it speaks to the way of being that is oftentimes grown. You know, those young ladies that they're coming into their own and they're feeling themselves, and they'll say, you're acting womanish, being like women. And it is loving women, loving the strength of women, loving women ways of being, women ways of knowing. And also, I don't want to miss this part. A lot of this came out of the feminist movement, the Black feminist movement. And when this was coined, one of the things that Alice Walker realized was that while feminism and the feminist movement was strong and very much in favor of women all over the globe, there were some intersectionality that weren't being addressed as it relates to Black women, right? So yes, we were feminists, but what about our men? What about our boys? What about our uncles and brothers who were similarly being oppressed by racism? What about the economic injustice? What about the environmental justice, where that is most likely to impact our communities? And so while feminism is good and was good, there were, we needed to build it out some more so that it could fully pay attention to and serve the lives of Black women in the United States. And so that is what happened with all the other justice issues and the intersectional justice issues that face us. Here comes womanism. And womanist theology, of course, is looking at theology, God, and the things of God through the lens of woman.
Yes. Is the lens of woman or Black women?
The lens of Black women.
Yes.
But here is too, because I was in Bangkok 2 weeks ago, and there were some Asian women who were talking about being womanists.
Okay.
There's a whole thing happening. So, yeah. I think Bishop Plunder said the best way to make something grow is to give it away, right? And it's specific to their culture that they're claiming womanism for.
Yeah. So in that sense, womanism is definitely expanding. right? It's reaching all corners of
Yes.
the earth.
Yes.
I'm grateful for that. So let's talk about the COGIS program, right? And its impact on adolescent girls facing poverty in East Africa. Can you tell us about what it is and what do you do through that program?
Keeping Our Girls in School, or COGIS, is a program that was started in 2017 when I went into East Africa and I was reading up on period poverty and its deep impact on the education of girls. Girls weren't going to school for, up to 5 to 7 days out of school every month because they had their period.
Yeah.
And 5 to 7 days in a week, every month, 12 fives, 60 and more days that they were missing out from school, which meant that builds up over time and they would end up lagging behind in education. And so there were ways that they were dealing with this, right? One of the ways they were dealing with it was exchanging their bodies to get menstrual hygiene products. And a lot of the girls were ending up being pregnant, some of them with STIs and so on and so forth, on top of the fact that they were missing out on school days, right? Yes. And so there was an underground that was taking advantage of these girls. And so I said to Pastor Caroline Omolo of Kenya, CACR presbyter, I want to do something about this. I need to do something about this. Let's do something about this. And so she introduced me to this principal in Mukuru Kwa Ruben slums in Nairobi. And we started the program then, actually in 2018. And it's been going strong. It's still there, still going on. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So do you only serve the young women at that particular location, or is it expanded beyond that?
Well, there are 200 of them. So one of the things we found that as I went in, I was giving, pads. And then the pads weren't enough. They pulled me aside and said, well, we need underwear to go with the pads. Wow. So we started providing underwears. And then I realized the school didn't have running water. So we started to provide wipes. And then we realized that the boys were feeling left out. What about us? And we felt like in order for them to be allies to these girls, we could not have them feeling left out. So we started providing underwears for them also. Wow. So, and part of what we do is reproductive health education as we are distributing the menstrual hygiene products. Yeah.
Such important work. Thank you so much for sharing, Bishop. So how does Sacred, so you also work with Sacred, right? How does Sacred, which is the spiritual alliance of communities for reproductive dignity, contribute to advancing reproductive justice? And what is the role that you play as its co-chair?
We started Sacred back in 2019. We wanted to have a nationwide conference where we brought faith leaders to hold a conversation about being affirming for comprehensive reproductive health, including safe abortion. And we thought we were going to have this conference in 2020, right? Yay, yes. Been and done. But what happened? COVID. Yes. So we had to go, and we met throughout COVID, and we had an online conference throughout COVID. Initially, we were going to gather about 100 or so faith leaders. In 2022, we gathered 400 plus faith leaders to talk about this across 23 denominations, 2 continents, and it goes on in how many countries. And so we kept on working. And what Sacred does is it provides theological education to speak back to the dominant narrative that has stolen the conversation about reproductive health and reproductive justice and abortion. The dominant narrative says that people of faith don't support abortion.
Yes.
And nothing could be farther from the truth. There is a vociferous few who are extremists who absolutely positively don't. But on the question of abortion, people are all along that really wide spectrum as to what they support. What Sacred does is we provide education both to Christians, Jewish, and Muslim faiths to speak back to that narrative. We also provide congregational designation. your congregation, and you're trained and you want to be a congregation that stands up for reproductive justice, we train you. You go through a process, something like the open and affirming process in the United Church of Christ, and you can be designated a sacred space, a sacred congregation.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much for this amazing work that you have been doing. You are watching Inspired with our guest, Bishop Andrea Vassell. We're glad that you are here. We're going to take a break so that Bishop can get a sip of water and stretch a little bit. And we're going to drink it out of her fabulous cup. And then we are going to go quickly into our Women's Business Spotlight. So let's take this break. All right, listen, it's time for our Women's Business Spotlight. I put the call out for those of you who are interested, those of you who are women and you own businesses and wanted to have free promotion throughout the month of March in honor of Women's History Month. I'm going to remove my little display name here because I want to make sure that you see my t-shirt, right? Because that is one of our spotlights today. We have 3 spotlights today. And so this shirt is, I love the woman I've become because I fought to become her. I'm still fighting to become this woman. And so our first business spotlight for today is Reverend Tyler D. Jackson. She is the founder of A Time for You. A Time for You is a healing center committed to helping individuals achieve holistic wellness by addressing the traumas and challenges in their lives. They offer a range of therapeutic services, including individual counseling, group therapy, and holistic healing modalities. To contact Tanya at Time for You, email them at atimeforyoullc@gmail.com. You can reach them by phone at 302-223-9523 and also on Facebook and TikTok at A Time for You. Our next business spotlight is none other than a fabulous Professor Natasha L. Robinson, Esquire. She is a curator, the creator and the curator of Legalese Please. Legalese Please provides virtual and in-person legal education that decodes, demystifies, and deconstructs legal language. They serve individuals and institutions that are interested in having legal language interpreted and translated into knowledgeable, accessible, and comprehensive language for the everyday person. Whether it's a group of good girlfriends, a class of young people, or a congregation, Legalese Please seeks to build you up by breaking it down. The way that you can contact Professor Natasha L. Robinson, Esquire, you can do so via email at legaleseplease@gmail.com. Her web is a linktree/Legalese Please, and you can also find her on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Legalese Please. Our third spotlight for this morning is Reverend Daniel J. Bihiro D. Min. We affectionately know her as Reverend Danny. She's the executive director and ACP certified educator at Sankofa Clinical Pastoral Education. You can find Sankofa CPE serves persons looking to earn a unit of clinical pastoral education, as well as continuing education on the current practices of spiritual care. To contact them over at Sankofa, to contact Reverend Danny, you can do so at danielle.bihuro@acpe.edu. By phone at 773, I see that typo, y'all, 773-953-9398. You can visit website at www.sankofacpe.org, and you can find them on Facebook and Instagram at Sankofa CPE, Sankofa CPE. Listen, if you have, just the wrong one. If you have a business, a woman-owned business, and you desire to have your product or service or merch on Inspire, we're offering free promotion throughout the month of March. I might extend it to April, but for right now, we're doing it throughout the month of March. So email me at sue@getinspired.live so that we can get your information out there, right? We want to share your business with our audience. Email me again at sue@getinspired.live as we celebrate women making a difference. We're making a difference. I want to shout all of you out right before I bring Bishop back on. If you have a question for her, oh, okay. So there's a correction to the email. Hey, Reverend Tanya. So the correction to the email is for A Time For You LLC is info@atimeforyoullc.com. Okay, I will make sure to make that correction. We will promote that again. Make sure to make that correction. Thank you so much for making that correction for me, Reverend Tanya. If you have a question for Bishop Andrea, please post them. You have comments for her, please post them so that she can respond to them before we end our program today. We're about to bring her back on right now on Inspire. Thank you. I hope that you enjoyed that little break, Bishop. Let me put your names back on in case for the people that's just coming in. There it is. There it is. Thank you again so much for joining us on Inspire and sharing your wealth of wisdom with our audience and all of the work that you're doing. You are certainly making a difference in the world, and we appreciate you, Bishop Andrea. So let's continue our conversation. In your experience, how does comprehensive health care, including access to safe abortions, intersect with the broader goals of justice and equity?
The United Nations Sustainability Development Goals that actually says, how can we keep our planet safe, right? How can we continue on as a species, as it were? One of the things they highlight in SDG number 5 is that if we do not keep women safe and educate women and pay attention to the things that have to do with women, our planet will not be sustainable. We will die out. I'll start there. And if we don't take care of women's reproductive health, our species will die out. For those people who are taking away or seeking to take away bodily autonomy from women, know this, that we know what's good for us and for our bodies. The work of comprehensive reproductive health, including safe abortions, help women to stay in control of their lives. Women who have unplanned and pregnancies that are not desired, are poor women who do, are more likely to stay in poverty for 3 generations. Pregnancies happen, and pregnancies can be beautiful and wonderful and joyful if it is something that you're able to do, if it is something that you can do without causing your health to go bonkers, without being a threat to your life, but your economy, your money, your all of that. So many people have babies that they weren't thinking about or wanted to have or could have. Educations, their education is disrupted. And so I believe that safe abortions, and you notice I said safe abortions is a way of protecting the lives of women. Women are not going to stop having babies. Women love, many women, those who choose, love having babies. But let us have them at a time when they're not detrimental to our health or threatening our lives in any way.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
And when we choose.
Yeah. Thank you so much. As the bishop of Global Ministries and TFAM, I get a TFAM question in there. How do you, as the bishop of Global Ministries and TFAM, how do you foster connections among radically inclusive faith leaders worldwide to promote culture change through faith and justice?
The model for TFAM Global is and we have presbyters, right? The TFAM Global Presbyters from all over the globe. We have Gary Chan in Singapore, Pastor Paul Bailey in London. We have Reverend Alba Onofrio and Reverend Jaime Galarza in South America and the Caribbean. We have Pastor Carolina Molo, Presbyter Carolina Molo in East Africa, and Jeffrey Mesigye, right? I keep messing up. And of course, Reverend Dr. David Williams is our Presbyter for Global Health. The model we have is we are Americans. We can't possibly know all of the things that are necessary in those regions. And so we raise up leaders to speak to what's happening in their communities and then provide support. We provide theological support to help them to excavate scripture and sacred text that will help them in the work of justice at the intersection of LGBT justice, gender justice, and health. And so when we provide the information and we provide the support, they can do the work in their regions.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that. So you mentioned Dr. Geneva. Okay, well, no, I mentioned Dr. Geneva Cannon. We talked about Dr. Geneva Cannon. Did we do that before we went live? But you mentioned somebody, I can't remember her name. Oh my gosh.
Is it
Crumpton? Yes, Dr. Crumpton, yes. So you mentioned Dr. Crumpton earlier. And I take it as the one who has inspired you, right? To kind of continue doing this important work that you've been doing. Are there any other historical or contemporary women who have been particularly influential in shaping your approach to life and work?
How much time you have?
We have a little time.
Women, the strong women all over the place. And in my life, Dr. Crumpton introduced me to womanist theology as a scholar. But one of my greatest influence is Eulalie Thompson, my mom. A great shout out to her. My sisters, particularly my sister Georgia, who is an attorney with her own practice in Brooklyn. And she's my big sister, right? So she's always been an inspiration.
Yes.
My wife, the Reverend Dr. Paye DeRosier, who is a stellar therapist and all the other things that she does. If I move out a little further, I can't go any further without lifting up our bishop, the Reverend Dr. Yvette Flunder. Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Bishop, I've known Bishop since 2007. And there isn't a year when she has not done something to help me, to push me forward in being a strong woman. She hasn't she drops, jewels all over the place in every conversation. I'd also like to lift up my pastor, the Reverend Dr. Vanessa M. Brown, who, God bless her.
Yes. That's my pastor too, y'all.
She's a strong sister. And so many others. Senator Pat Spearman and all the womanist theologians, Dr. Emily Towns, Dr. Katie Cannon, and, my very own and beloved Dr. Pamela Lightsey, Dr. Valerie Bridgman, all of them. Just strong, amazing women. And Craig, who helped me to get into TFAM and go out into the world. So many. If we stand tall, we are standing on the shoulders of ancestors who stood up. We're standing on the shoulders of women before us, our elder sisters, and our womanist mothers and feminist mothers who actually said no to injustice, right? And paid a price for us to be here today.
Yeah, thank you. We have a question from the audience. So audience, if you have a question, be sure to post it. So from Barbara Rolette, I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you, Barbara, for your question. The new conversation about IVF is being discussed recently, and laws along redefining IVF. Is this a topic that has been discussed with your group?
Yes. As I said, 2 weeks ago, I was in Bangkok, Thailand, at a abortion and reproductive justice conference that was put on by Asia Safe Abortion Initiative. And that came up because, needless to say, IVF has been one of the ways in which people have been intentional. Women have been intentional about having babies, particularly women who are not partnered with men. It has served the LBQ women tremendously, right? To have children, to have our families without having to be in sexual relationship with men. Taking away and impacting this IVF and having laws that speak to even, what they're calling the unborn, right? These are fertilized eggs. Is ridiculous. And when they control the narrative, when they control the conversation, then they take away the right of people to have families the way they want to. And so that has become one of the newest things that is being looked at internationally, because what we do in the United States absolutely impacts the rest of the world.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Thank
And if
you.
you have any other questions, let us know so I could get it to Bishop before we end today. How do you, with everything that you do,
Mhm.
how do you prioritize self-care and mental well-being? And what advice would you have to offer those who are also striving to maintain this healthy harmony between their personal and professional lives?
So I identify as Christian, but I'm also of multiple faith belongings.
Yes.
I come from a long line of ancestors who've been strong, and I call them, I speak to them. I actually, think about and find ways to affirm who they are in me, right? So every morning I get up, I'm not going to show you my altar that is literally right here next to
You
my
can pan the camera. We would love to see your altar.
my altar is right next to my desk, and it is okay. So here is my altar. Right? So there isn't a morning when I come down to my office and I am not at the altar and praying. I do a meditation practice every morning, and uh, chanting, breathing, all of that helps to center me, because, girl, I can't do this work without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how can somebody else develop, maybe not your practice, but what advice would you have for somebody else that's trying to kind of harmonize those things?
I prioritize that by staying at the cutting edge of what's happening. I know that what's happening in Christianity, I think about our practice. I do contemplative Christian practices, and I look at Buddhist practices. What would work for me? I look at practices from other faiths. How have people connected with the divine that would work for me?
Yeah.
I do the deep, deep chanting of the that somehow centers me and kind of, it holds me in my body. See what works for you. Everything will not work for you. And stay in prayer. Get to know the creator, the divine energy, the essential, omnipotent one for yourself.
Yes.
And stay in community with people who share your beliefs, right? Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. What are, with everything that you do again, what are your hopes and dreams for the future?
It's a part of my bio. A world of equity and justice for all, regardless of gender. The United Nations has said that it'll take over 200 more years for us to achieve gender equity if we keep going at the rate we're going. That is unimaginable. A world where my siblings, their daughters, their granddaughters will never have to walk down the street and feel that their lives are in danger because of rape culture.
Yes.
We can earn a living that gives us pay that is equitable to our male counterparts, and as Black women to our white female counterparts. A world of equity and justice, so that the lives of Black women and little girls are not interrupted by the things that everyone else enjoys. Right? That's what I'm looking for.
Well, Bishop, thank you for your service to the world. Thank you for your commitment to justice and equity. We so appreciate you. What is next for you, and how can we support you?
What is next is just continuing to build out TFAM Global Presbyters, continuing to push the leadership of those amazing women of the Wawaba Institute in East Africa so that they can be the ones who are completely running Wawaba, because I want to work myself out of a job. I want them to be, pushing this thing across the globe and inspiring each other and other women in the globe. That's my life. If I can do that, then I will die just really, really happy. And of course, loving on my son and my wife. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Shout out to Dr. Peggy and Zachary. Hey, Zachary. I am posting the ways. There are 2 websites for Waba Aba and for coaches. Coaches, which I want. Coaches. Listen, I'm gonna post it in the chat. Where else can people find you on social media?
I am at Dr. Andrea E. Vassell on Facebook, and I am on all of actually my link tree is there. So you can actually just click on my link tree. I'll send it to you right now, Sue, and you can absolutely find me there. Actually, I put my link tree in the chat. So
yeah, put it in chat so I could I can post it.
Yeah, I'm finding it really quickly because, I have 2018 of these things open on my laptop.
Same here. But again, we are just so grateful that you have spent some time with us and sharing about the work that you do globally, sharing about the work that you do with Wawa Aba, Women's Institute, and with Keeping Our Girls in School, and with TFAM Global, and all of the other things that you've done. Let me just put this here.
Thank you so much for having me, and to all of the audience, and to all of the women and girls out there. Know that you are divinely ordered to be the center of your own life. You are strong, stronger than you ever believe. And if you see something and it's staying on your heart and you want to go for it, reach for it. God bless you.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you for joining us, and we will talk again soon.
Thank you for having me. Blessing.
Bye-bye. Oh, that was such a wonderful conversation with Bishop Andrea Vassell. Remember, all month long, every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern during Women's History Month, we are profiling women. We are celebrating women who are making a difference. And so we're talking about the areas of reproductive justice, sustainability, youth advocacy, community development, empowerment for women and girls, and more. So make sure that you are tuning in every Saturday beginning at 12, beginning at 12, we got 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Want to remind you that if you are a woman-owned business, we are offering free promotion for your business throughout the month of March. Email me at sue@getinspired.live. We want to give a great big shout out again to Reverend Ty D. Jackson from A Time for You, to Professor Natasha L. Robinson, Esquire from Legalese Please, and to Reverend Danielle J. Behiro, Demon, so Reverend Doctor, right? From Sankofa Clinical Pastoral Education. And all of these will also be posted on Inspire's social media pages, right? So we are promoting you throughout the month, not just live on Inspire, but also on our social media pages, because we want to get the word out and have people know about who you are. If you or someone you know is on a mission to create change while inspiring others to do the same, we do want to hear from you. We want you to join us in conversation on a future episode of Inspire. So visit us at www.getinspired.live to book your appearance today. That is the end. That's the end of our show. I can't wait for you to join us next week. We'll be talking with Monica Morrow. She from Hawaii, and she is the founder of What Makes You Feel Beautiful, and she advocates for women and girls in Hawaii, in Maui. And I'm so excited to have her. It'll be 4 a.m. in the morning when she joins us next week. So I pray and I hope that you will all just come on in, support her as she gets up mad early in the morning to come and hang out with us on Inspire. I love y'all. Let me just make sure I'm not missing any comments. I love you all so much. Thank you again for joining me, those of you who are watching on LinkedIn, those of you who have watched on Facebook, those of you who have watched on YouTube, and my Instagram crew. Thank you for joining me this morning. And until next week, I want you to stay lifted. I want you to stay motivated. And most of all, I want you to stay inspired. I can't wait to see you again next week. God bless you.